Have you ordered your t-shirts from flashdesigns.com? Have you? Have you really? If not, you should. Flashdesigns.com holds all of the best merchandise screen printed from our friend Mark Killer Kowalski. Locally owned, locally operated. If you want to act local and think globally, here's your chance. Flashdesigns.com, holding all your Moon Tower merchandise. T-shirts, beer koozies, all to your service. Flashdesigns.com. Oh my God, there's 3 of us now.
Whoa. Check it out.
How did that happen? Thank you for joining us once again for this new episode. Got our good friend Russ Axon here, pop culture enthusiast.
Hello.
A man who actually requested to be on the show. Nate, we're making strides.
Yes, we are.
We're making strides. People actually want to be on this show.
Yeah, glad to have you, Russ.
I slept in $20. I've known him 10 years. It's okay.
However you want to, however you want to say it.
If I had $20 for all the people I owe $20, I'd have at least $20.
I think that math.
You know one person.
I said at least. Could be more, could be less.
You have to know at least 2 people. There's 3 of us in the room.
Yeah, I was friends with a couple legs. What's going on, buddy?
Not much, man. Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Hey, man.
Appreciate it, guys.
I will never turn down a request.
Yeah. Hey, and I appreciate you taking me on. What is it? Long time guest, first time listener. No, wait, hang on. Okay, yeah. The long time listener. Obviously, you've been loving it since the start. So very.
See, we're so famous right now. He's getting tongue tied and starstruck. Oh my God, I feel blessed.
I'm already telling you right now, and I'm worried I'm gonna be terrible. You've had great guests on the show before that we were talking about earlier and stuff, but I'm just like, I'm worried that I'm already trying too hard. I feel.
Russ, you'll be in my Oscar speech.
Hey, relax, you're among friends.
You're going to be in my
Oscar
Oscar speech.
We're going to need a little bit more of this banquet here.
Well, it's right down next to you, buddy.
Yep. I'll get some. Thank you.
This podcast has been brought to you by Coors Banquet Beer.
We can't
Bring the
show
best,
it.
bring
But
the banquet.
You can't show it.
Coors.
You can imagine.
My bad.
Taste the Rockies.
That's the heavy stuff, too.
Yeah, it's the stuff that doesn't have like the blue mountains on there tell you how cold it is. Like, no, you just drink this shit.
No, just drink it.
No, it's the Rigid Frontier Mountains.
Oh, hey, there it is.
That's classy as hell. Look at that.
The river stream.
Yep.
I love it.
And I think my dad used to smuggle this stuff back from Colorado.
It used to be a big deal. I remember, my dad talked about that too.
Yeah.
And stuff. Like, you had to travel to go get that shit.
Yeah, no, he'd travel over there, he'd get like a good couple cases, he'd keep one to himself, and he'd sell the rest.
Oh my,
yeah.
This is a smart man.
Yeah.
The legal side of that, I remember, was working at the gas station on the border of Michigan.
Yeah.
And people coming over and buying cartons, like sometimes by the dozen, like handfuls of cartons of cigarettes.
Mm-hmm.
And this shit's a lot more expensive back home. I know that's why you're here.
Yeah, such is life.
I'm not getting paid anymore. I'm not making commission. But let's get to it.
Let's get into it.
Oscars.
Yeah.
Oscars.
Reaction. That's why you wanted to be here.
That's why I wanted
Tell me
to
your
be
thoughts.
here and stuff.
We didn't watch it. What happened?
I kept tabs on my phone. I feel split 50-50.
I'll say I didn't even jump in until maybe halfway through or so. It's weird. So just a general comment and everything. It was one of those years where they did it without a host and stuff. So just like I think there's a separate thing from watching, keeping up with the results and everything, which I was doing as well, and then actually watching it, like just watching them desperately trying to fill like 3.5 hours.
Because didn't Steve Martin and Chris Rock do like a cold opening co-host thing?
Yeah, I didn't see it when it actually aired. I know later, but I think it was literally just that opening and then like they kind of treated it like they were the host, but they made clear to it like that they weren't. And then it it was a weird pattern of throughout the night where somebody would come out to introduce somebody else, who would then introduce something else, which would then lead into like it was just a lot of
like the way a studio's fucking
introductions.
run.
The biggest one was Anthony Ramos, who's a cast member of Hamilton, the Broadway show, introduced Lin-Manuel Miranda, obviously, and stuff. And Lin-Manuel Miranda came out and introduced a montage of popular Oscar-winning songs. And it's just like, this is like the music that like we've all reacted to, have all felt something to. And then it led into Eminem performing Lose Yourself. Which
that was a precursor to that, because I heard about that. That was a precursor.
It was an introduction to a segue essentially and everything. I'll say like it was cool too.
Okay, we're gonna wrap this up.
Again, they're trying their best. The ultimate result, he did a good performance and everything, but it was just very jarring. Like, it's like, oh, okay.
Because I heard about that, and like, oh, he's performing it way too late and blah blah blah. But then I didn't know the precursor because I didn't watch it. I didn't watch any clips because I didn't want to. Like I think the last time I watched the fucking Oscars was when Scorsese won for Departed.
Oh wow. Oh well, no, that wasn't even
2007.
2007. I was
gonna say that last time I
I
watched it was around that time, like 2006, 2007.
Because I was such a fanboy and just like,
you knew it was gonna happen and everything. Yeah.
Well, and then like watching it in retrospect, it was just like, oh yeah, it was gonna get Lucas, Spielberg, and Coppola come on stage to present the award.
Who did you think? Yeah, exactly.
Was De Palma running Peanuts? Like
See, because I usually my Oscar timeline is all judged by when did 3-6 Mafia win? So it's
2005.
So it's
Okay.
So it's before 3-6 Mafia and post 3-6 Mafia.
Because I fucking posted that the other day. I fucking mean it when I tell people, and it's a sage kind of wisdom. I feel, don't ever give up on what you love, because Juicy J, with all due respect, and Juicy J and 3-6 Mafia fucking rip. He won an Oscar before Martin Scorsese, and he has many Oscars as Stanley Kubrick, technically.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And Hitchcock.
That's impressive.
Blah, 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 blah. Eminem won an Oscar before fucking Martin Scorsese.
Yeah.
Now, the legitimacy of that, that's subjective.
And you would probably know this better, but like all the times prior to his Departed win, like what was he up for that he like lost? He knows he's got this ready to go. Okay.
Gangs of New York lost to Chicago.
I'm okay with that. Continue.
Freeze frame.
Get ready. This is the first of many tonight, folks.
Yeah.
Just so everybody knows.
It's a knockdown, drag out.
Tables will turn.
Sunday.
Brother against brother.
Gravedigger versus Bigfoot. The Pontiac Silverdome. 97,000 seats. 73,000 show up.
We know, Vince. We know.
But do we?
They have the count.
Hulk Hogan. Goodfellas lost to Dance with Wolves.
I'm not okay with that. Yeah.
And Raging Bull lost out to Ordinary People, directed by Robert Redford.
That's fucking bullshit, man. That's yeah. Okay. Well.
And Wolf of Wall Street lost out to.
Oh yeah.
Was it 2013, 14? I don't fucking know what.
I think it was 50. Maybe. Could be wrong. I think it was 14.
No, because...
I think 14, yeah. But
no, 13, 14, because Silence came out 2 years after that, and it was nominated, I believe, and it didn't win. Actually, no, excuse me. It wasn't nominated. And then Irishman.
Okay. Well, did you think going in the Irishman was going to win this
No.
year? Okay.
Actually, my prediction was on Parasite.
Okay.
Because the way the ads ran it,
Sure.
highly lauded. It had the momentum, I thought, from the critics, and people just kept talking about it. It kept siphoning through. Whereas 1917 was, like, we have The Irishman, we have Parasite being talked about, Jojo Rabbit being talked about, the films kind of shuffling through, and then 1917 comes. Like, the promotion of it was very late.
Yeah.
And I'm not surprised that it won the the visual technical awards.
A lot of those, yeah.
And then you have what's the other one fucking with Christian Bale and
Ford versus
Matt
Ferrari.
Damon.
Matt Damon.
Which
Matt Damon.
have you seen it?
I saw that one.
My interest in it is it won best editing.
Yeah.
And I'm curious about, is it just because of the car scenes?
I think,
which I'm sure it is.
I think so, but that's tough. Like, I guess there's a challenge to that's not inherent in other movies and everything. But like,
because I think it won sound mixing.
It won
too.
sound design too. Sound. No, I think makes it one of the sound ones, but it's which like it won an award for essentially just how well can you do like.
So yeah, like I'm curious if it has that touch to it.
I would say, because, so should say saw everything except 1917 and Little Women.
Okay.
But no, obviously, Little Women, familiar with in other incarnations and stuff. 1917, I know the whole pitch it's like one long take, or it's cut to look like one long take. And
for me, it's like Birdman and World War One.
Yeah.
Rope or that style of it, which I do.
That's a good pitch.
Very curious about. Very curious about. I'm wondering if the story's lacking, because that's one of the dings I heard about it, and it's one of the dings I've heard about Parasite too.
Is that
really? It's being obviously won. I was very surprised it won Best Screenplay.
Okay.
I thought that was a shoo-in with Tarantino. To be, he's up for the award. That's not just a fanboy, but like,
but he's so like.
Where was I going with it? Fucking.
With 1917 stories.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Is that it's being like these films are being lauded. My curiosity is like, well, I'm fumbling over my words, but I think what I'm trying to draw to is, and it's a poor stance on my part as a film lover and goer and purveyor, where you hear about something that's lauded by the critics or fans and people you talk to, and then trying to find what's wrong with it.
Oh, because you get like
hypercritical
of things once they've been like recognized and stuff.
Well, especially with Oscar season,
sure,
because you don't hear too much about like what goes on at like say Cannes or Berlin or Venice, like the major film festivals, or even Sundance, but like the Oscars.
We should talk about that a little bit. And I know, obviously,
Go
lots
for
of
it.
other people have talked about it and everything. It's like well known and stuff. But I mean, it's a lot of like just the idea of how much money and how much publicity is put into like campaigning for a movie to win. It's not so much necessarily people just go and watch it and then take away that they're also bombarded by those ads you're talking about, and even like they get emails, flyers, shit like that.
Well, and that's actually a good point, where you find out about like the campaigning for the films, and then you have those disagreements when the selections are made. How much of that is like, okay, why did you award that? Did you award that for its merit, or did you award that because someone pushed the envelope
Just
a
got
little too
blasted
far?
at you, yeah, the whole time. And stuff.
And when I found out about that shit, like,
it made a lot of things make more sense.
well,
Yeah.
the example, was when Sidney Poitier won the honorary Oscar,
Yeah,
and fucking very well deserved.
absolutely.
Same night, Halle Berry and Denzel won Best Actress and Best Actor.
Okay, interesting.
Both roles that they definitely deserved to win for. Even though Denzel should have fucking won for Malcolm X instead of Al fucking Pacino, which is a fucking honorary Oscar in and of itself, which the fucking Academy does. Same thing with Scorsese when he won for The Departed.
Yeah.
That was saying, sorry, Marty. Sorry.
That happened.
We're sorry.
Just
We got you, buddy.
I feel like any award you look at, though, you can kind of point
Lost
to
for
that
Taxi
and
Driver to fucking John Avildsen for Rocky, which is a great film. Rocky is a great
Yeah.
fucking film.
Oh yeah.
I'm right here with that.
But Taxi Driver, Network, Bound for Glory.
Overwrought, man. Yeah. Wow. Shit.
Yeah. And that got a president shot. How's that for merit?
I mean, it should receive.
He should have won an honorary Oscar.
Retroactive
Merit badge
Oscar.
you
Yeah.
win.
Martin Scorsese
That
should have
one.
won an honorary Oscar in 1981.
Something retroactive or something like that. Like, yeah. When you can literally pinpoint to your movie affecting like massive societal change, or potentially.
And here's the thing too, like cats. I've mentioned this a million times. Like cats our age, like hindsight's a bitch. But it, like you can look back on stuff like that and go like, oh wait, but you don't know the idea at the time because you weren't there.
In the moment too, stuff like that. Like, what's the recent one a lot of people talk? Oh, like Crash. Like, people look back on that now pretty negatively, I guess. Like,
Which I've heard, or excuse me, I've read that Parasite is the Crash of now.
oh, really?
I've heard that.
Interesting.
I've read that. Excuse me.
Interesting. Okay.
I've read that.
I mean, I will say it's very timely. Like,
That the way that Crash treated racism, Parasite treats classism,
I would disagree.
class warfare.
I would disagree with that, but okay, I can see,
And
where that's coming from.
and trust me, I'm very much interested in seeing it.
Sure.
I'm going to see it, not just because it won the awards, but
So we should say real quick then, if we're talking. So just with all the Oscar related stuff and everything.
all right.
So
Let's diffuse for a second.
let's just break it down for everybody so they know where
before the headlock comes. You son of a bitch!
So Parasite 1, I saw that. You haven't seen it yet,
I have not.
Nate.
I have not seen it
Haven't
yet.
seen it yet. Okay. Irishman, we all saw.
Yes.
Okay. Once Upon a Time in
Yes.
Hollywood,
Yes.
we all saw.
I will admit, out of the Best Picture nominees, I only saw Irishman and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Okay.
All right.
Jojo Rabbit, I would like to see.
Loved it.
Parasite.
I've heard good things.
Parasite, I would like to see. 1917, I want to see.
I mean,
Marriage Story, I have no interest in seeing.
I
I like Adam Driver. I kind of like ScarJo as a fucking actress, but I have no interest in seeing that.
We could touch on that a little bit later. That one hit. that one was an interesting watch for me, just personally and stuff. But Marriage Story, Nate. Awkward segment.
Yeah, no. No, that wasn't on the list.
Little Women. I'm assuming wasn't on the list either.
Yeah,
Little Women wasn't.
I've heard it's a great book. There's been some good adaptations. I heard the latest one is pretty good. Just no interest. I'll admit it.
No, that's fine.
I'm talking to people
Let
at home.
the people know.
I'll fucking admit it.
He admits it.
I mean, my rule of thumb is I don't see anything that I can watch at home and stuff. Like it's like Little Women, you know, just it and Marriage Story and stuff. I can't imagine if that hadn't been on Netflix, I would not have gone to see that as like in theaters or anything. Cause it's just like, you know, it's a small little drama and everything, and like, you know, when you go to the movies now, I think it makes more sense to go for something that has a bit more like spectacle and everything. Like 1917, I would definitely. I still have to see that. I would definitely want to see that on a big screen with the speakers, you know, with the, you know, leveled seating and everything. Get the whole experience and stuff. Because obviously it's very different from just watching it on, like, you know, computer or TV.
That's kind of like the reasoning I gave myself to see the new Star Wars, honestly. It's like, well, that's really the kind of movie that you want to see in the theater.
Absolutely.
Because, you know...
It's meant to be seen in the theater.
Exactly.
It was shot that way.
And just that group experience, too, and stuff. Like,
yeah, I mean, we've been in the film theaters a few times.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
What was the Dark Knight?
Dark Knight we saw.
Inglourious Bastards.
Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah.
So remember we ran into your brother. He was going into the theater when we were coming out of the theater.
That was a good one. That was fun. And then, but like, yeah, I think that's part of the reason. In all honesty, I'd even say like The Irishman. Like, if that hadn't been on Netflix, I don't know that I would have seen that.
I looked into it, and the closest theater is 30 miles away. But when it was coming out,
yeah,
and I can smoke weed and drink beer at home. I wanted to go, I just didn't make the time for it, but I'm so fucking happy I saw it at home.
Yeah,
because I think here's another thing too.
That's kind of like the beauty of Netflix with how they're doing things now. It's like you have the option.
Well,
yeah.
Even going beyond that, you mentioned 1917.
Yeah.
Or even Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Once Upon a Time in
demanded
Hollywood.
to be seen on a big
Absolutely,
screen.
absolutely.
You said the new Star Wars, for
Yeah,
instance.
yeah.
See, I think The Irishman works best if it's a personal setting because it has that tone. Like the Ella Gay kind of tone that film, I think was lost on a lot of people. I think works best in like a personal setting like living room or bedroom. And I think
something a bit more intimate.
Well, I do think that
Yeah,
Netflix got it right by having that on a streaming system. Now, granted, there's the things that, like the interruptions in your system or whatever, your connection, shit like that, which happened when I saw it. Because of the lady
Even
friends.
then, like, you know, like it's a long enough film, like, you know, having the option to, like, you know, digest it the way you want it to. It's like,
pause
it's
it and
not
take a
bad thing.
piss.
I was gonna say when you got a 3.5 hour film, like, being able to just step away real quick.
Well, when that was released, that was 3.5 hours. Like, okay, maybe Netflix is doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Because I will admit, I have not seen a 3.5 hour film in the theater, but I would if I could.
Trying to think if, I don't think I have either. Well,
I've watched 3.5, 4 or 5 hour films many times.
sure, but never in.
But you can pause them to take a piss.
Exactly.
You can't pause the fucking, like, look up at the
You
projector
just
and be like,
shout.
hey, can you hang on for a second? I'm your
Just
whiz,
like, wait,
man.
wait, hold on.
Like,
Hold on.
here's my ticket. Here's my kid. You just.
Right,
I'm
break
sorry
time.
to the 15 other people around me, but I get a whiz.
And it's like, you know,
And
back
then you
in the
see
day,
the
they
oth-
actually had, like, the, you know, like, the benefit of having them intermission.
Well, and depending,
That was another
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
That was another thing
then-
where I knew it wasn't going to last well in theaters.
Yeah,
For the
for
the
because
crowd
of
now.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It used to, but when it had an intermission. Those old epics always had an intermission.
Yeah, that's true. Which I think,
The David Lane films, fucking El Cid,
I think once you do,
Ben-Hur, they always had intermissions.
that's interesting. Well, because nobody makes like movies that long anymore. Although I shouldn't say that because between Irishman and then Avengers last year and stuff, that's like two films that are over 3 hours. Like,
Let's go back to Scorsese since Gangs in New York, or even back to Kundun, they're all 2.5 hour, 3 hour films.
Yeah,
Same
yeah.
with fucking Tarantino.
yeah,
like pushing that limit of the crowd now, which I think they take in consideration.
I think so.
And I love it. I love it. I love that they're doing that, I think, willingly and not at the behest of the audience, but and not even trying to put the thumb up the audience ass, because the films are not condescending, I feel.
Yeah.
I agree.
But testing the audience's determination and stamina to want to watch what's on screen, but making sure that what's on screen is worth them watching.
Well, that's why, you should, say, if you're going to make a movie that long, like, you better have, you got to be confident about, like you said, what
it's
it
like,
is you're
I feel
presenting,
like Irishman could be watched in a sitting, honestly. Like, it's engaging enough that, like, you know, if you wanted to, you definitely could, but it's like I said, like, it's good to have the option. You know, take it in how you would.
And I do think that I agree with that, Nate. It's well worth, if you can stomach and sit through the whole 3.5 hours. I think it's worth it, because I think it's a well-paced film.
Yeah.
Well,
for that long and that epic of a story.
And I think too, like, most people do that anyway. Like, that's what binging is. Like, you know, everybody's like,
oh, definitely.
You'll watch like 5 hours, but it's like one thing when it's, you know, packaged into a 3.5 hour single thing or a 4 hour single thing. But like when it's broken up, like every half hour or an hour,
you get excited for what comes next.
And then Netflix like even says like, "Hey, you still watching?" Or you know, like Hulu does that.
Are you sure?
Even. It's like, are you sure?
You don't have your dick in your hand right now.
Step outside a little bit and you know.
Get some water and
Netflix
air.
is judging you.
They judge pretty hard.
It's not binge watching, it's shame watching. I'm not yet done with my ice cream.
Come
Click.
on, man. Just one more episode.
But
I got 6 beers left.
But it shows like people can do it and stuff. It's just how it's presented and everything.
Yeah. Well, and Scorsese has talked about this throughout his career about, if I can segue into visual literacy, like getting the audience to know and understand what they're watching and being intrigued to what happens next is obviously, I think, much harder than and much more complex, because you don't have to go above their heads. You just have to keep them going.
Yeah.
Keep them on a line. It's kind of like a, like an IV thing.
Just drip it in.
And that's what I think The Irishman did very well, was keeping that IV dripping, where it's a lot of little moments. Like even, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, when Frank Sheeran kills Jimmy Hoffa, you expect this kind of climactic, not even grandiose kind of thing, standoff or big monologue, but he walks in, there's no one home, and corners him, shoots him.
Yeah, it happens, and
it's just
life goes
like
on.
that.
Yeah.
But in
and then there's still a bunch of movie
in the compass in the compass of this 3-hour film, I thought that was the most brilliant bit of it, and relying on the last 15 minutes to nail that stake home. When Frank is sitting in the fucking old person's home with the door cracked, it got me, man. It got me. It got me.
No kidding.
It got me. And another.
I thought you were about to bust out your De Niro impression real quick.
Not yet.
We'll
Not
get
yet.
there.
Not yet.
He's working to it.
I'm working. The mole's growing. 2 other parts where after he does a hit, comes back on the plane, gets in the car with Pesci, and he hands him back his sunglasses because Frank had to see what was going to happen.
Yeah.
When Pesci hands him his sunglasses, and fucking when the Christmas party at Frank's house,
Okay.
where Russell gives Peggy, his daughter, the present.
Yeah.
And she doesn't say thank you. Well, she's like, thanks. And Frank's like, tell Uncle Russell thank you, blah, blah, blah. And Joe Pesci goes, it's okay, Frank. She said thank you once and just sits back.
Yeah,
dude. Fucking drink.
And that movie, it hits you right in the feels. It's like, you can kind of put yourself in the guy's shoes throughout the movie. It's like, there's a bunch of depressing old men.
Well, that's like, honestly, my biggest quarrel with The Irishman, not enough Harvey Keitel.
Yeah. Well, that's my quarrel.
Don't get me wrong.
With every movie I ever watched. Like, that was pretty good, but when
up top,
Harvey Keitel showed up,
But like, and the other thing too is like, they're all in their 70s. That's the thing. Like, I feel that the tone and the connection between all of them connected so well. Obviously, because they had all worked together.
And so, can I say, and we touched on it a little bit before and everything, when we were talking before this and stuff.
Okay.
Because I liked it, and I like the parts you singled out just now, agree with and everything. But I think like it was a bigger deal. It should have been a huge deal. First of all, like Martin Scorsese, Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, Joe Pesci doing a movie together. Holy fucking shit! Yeah. I think it was like it ended up being a bigger deal with the technology they were using to de-age them and everything, because like it was like I remember hearing more about that even before I saw the movie and even after I saw the movie.
I kept tabs on that.
Reading and hearing more about that, and people like being more like impressed by that than saying anything in terms of like, the story or like, the characters or anything like that. We're just like, man, did you see like how they did that and everything? They did it without any, those face dots or any of those head cameras and stuff like that. Like, so I think like, and I think there's a bit of a reason for that and everything. Like, as good as the movie was,
early on in the movie, it's kind of unimpressive. Then it gets better.
It's obvious.
There's certain parts. They do a good, and then as you go along, like it gets more and more seamless. But but
I was thinking it's like the intensity of like the earlier stuff is like what got it, honestly. Because like the earlier you go, like the less like realistic it gets.
Yeah.
So let's jump off of that. You've seen Jojo Rabbit, right?
Yes.
Review. I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah,
I'm curious myself.
That's fair. All right, can we pause here real quick?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. Let's take a union break.
Well, now I need to pee. Yeah.
Okay, let's do it then.
So, loved it. I should say first, big Taika Waititi fan.
He did Thor Ragnarok, which I thoroughly enjoyed.
Ooh, yeah.
Which you thoroughly enjoyed?
Thoroughly enjoyed.
That's right.
As you do.
As one does.
He is a thoroughbred man.
I mean,
definitely not a Clydesdale.
I just remember.
Indeed.
I just remember watching the fight scenes in that movie. I'm just like, man, he must be Thor right now.
They were fun. Thor Ragnarok was fun. It was good popcorn.
And I'll say too, this one especially, and like What We Do in the Shadows. Obviously, if you ever get a chance to watch that,
I liked it.
Fucking love that one. I think he did Eagle versus Shark too. I can't remember if that was just Jermaine Clement or if he was on that too. But
Jermaine
from Flight of the Conchords.
From Flight of the Conchords. Yeah.
Too many dicks on the dance floor.
Too many dicks.
Going to the party, sipping on Bacardi, trying to get some ladies, but there's Adam, Steve, and Molly.
Only from the army.
The only drugs I'm gonna see
Too many dicks on the dance floor.
I think. I'm sorry, I had to say that.
Butcher that song.
My favorite
Adam,
still
Steve, and Molly.
Podman's First Rhinoceros.
Classic. American classic. Well, New Zealand classic, but American classic.
It's better than Old Zealand.
Fuck Australia.
But yeah, if you liked What We Do in the Shadows, Thor Ragnarok, this one still has that. his sense of humor, his brand of humor and stuff. Even more so, like, just because, like, with the satire and everything, and with, like, the Nazism and stuff, you know, he turns it up, I'd even say. But then, like, I think this is the most heartfelt movie he's kind of done too, because, like, just at the end, it comes in, and this one I won't spoil too much because I know you want to see it. And stuff.
I do want to see it.
I probably should see it.
I would highly recommend it and stuff because it's like, I'd say like even more so than like as much as I liked like Parasite and even Once Upon a Time in Mexico. This one's like the most just like idiosyncratic movie and everything of the ones that were like nominated.
I heard it's a lot more screwball than his usual stuff.
Very much so, very much, especially that first so much physical comedy in like the first like I'd even say like 2 acts and everything, and then it just I won't.
Does it culminate or does it get sentimental?
I'll say it gets sentimental, but it all ties together. It all makes sense. It's stuff. It's not like it just comes out of nowhere. Like from the very beginning, it's like you can kind of tell like the movie. It was like setting up for it, and especially when like you get to that end and you kind of like.
So it doesn't just pull your heartstrings. It does it for a reason.
It does for a reason, and still it still keeps that humor up. You know, maybe it's not as like. It's not as like absurdist and slapstick as it is at the beginning and stuff, but like you still get a lot.
It's a little more serious.
A little bit, well, because I mean, you kind of you know it's still making a statement and everything. Like, So, but like absolutely, highly recommend it. Love that one. And like I totally would have been okay. I would have been surprised if. That one, but I totally would have been okay with that one winning as well, like the best picture category and stuff, because that was a lot of fun. Highly recommend.
What else?
I'm trying to think. Well, say
what's your other takes?
My other takes: Ford versus Ferrari. Just buy the book. I don't know if it's fun watching.
I can tell by the trailer.
That's why it's fun watching. It's fun watching Matt Damon, Christian Bale together and stuff. That's fine and stuff.
Those fuckers ruined him for me.
It's you know, and he tries so hard.
Of course he does.
He tries as hard every time.
So does Christian Bale.
He even does a full on like Texas twang in this movie and stuff. Very convincing, I guess.
Yeah, I saw that when he tried to do True
Texas,
Grit.
I don't know. It's I'm not the biggest fan of like biopics or just stuff because like I'm one of those people who then like I dive into it after and like I want to try and find out like more and everything. Oh, it's like, you know, what's the stuff that they didn't have time to show us in the film, and then you get in there and you find out it's like, oh no, actually we like changed the entire like truth of this film and everything like that. Which
for the narrative,
as far as I could tell, wasn't entirely the case with this one and stuff. But that's why I'll fight like I should say fight. I'll argue with a lot of people on Bohemian Rhapsody. I didn't care for it at the end of the day.
I actually heard a lot more people didn't care for it.
I should say too. Yeah.
Have you seen Rocket Man? Was that any good?
I didn't actually. I still haven't seen.
I've heard that dude's performance in Rocket Man was way better than Cat who did Freddie Mercury.
I'll believe that. Well, just
Rami Malek or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know their names.
But the guy's a Mr. Robot.
He did a good show.
He did a good job.
Is it actually a good show?
It's a very good show.
Okay. Because the only thing I remember seeing him in was The Master, where he played Philip Seymour Hoffman's son-in-law.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In a bit part.
And then he was in Queen.
Yeah, I've heard.
And also a video game.
Which that Until Dawn one?
Yeah, Until Dawn.
Okay. Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah. He didn't do bad in that one either.
He didn't do bad. I think if I remember, well, I gotta finish that one. Okay, we won't spoil that either.
Fair enough.
We're spoiling enough.
Spoil it.
I mean, I didn't even play it. I just watched a Let's Play or whatever.
Oh, there you go. I think that's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one was fine. What did I say? Irishman, I already said kind of how I felt. It was like solid. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, a lot of fun.
Yeah,
especially once
dude.
it starts getting crazy at the end of everything. And I knew he was like going to.
Yeah,
because
they built it. They built it up.
Well, and then just from from Inglourious Bastards and stuff, you immediately, or at least immediately go into it, and just like anything could happen. Anything could happen.
Yeah,
like
like you don't even realize you're getting hyped up until you get to that last like 15 minutes or whatever of the film, and it's like, oh wait, they alluded to this like 20 different times during the beginning of it.
They've been built, yeah.
Well, it was great. It was great because you enjoyed the journey.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a road trip movie. It was a buddy movie.
It was a bro movie. Yeah.
I saw a lot of bullshit about it, like considering the ending, the whole revisionist part.
Oh.
And I saw a great article on RT.com. It was an op-ed.
Where there's nothing but great art.
Yeah.
I need to know what the enemy's thinking. Where the guy was like, would you rather he'd done the actual ending? Mm-hmm. Where Sharon Tate gets stabbed 50 times.
I mean, it would have been interesting, but like at the same time, it's like, nah, like what other ending were you expecting?
And again, too, it's just, it just made for so much, like, just got
and
batshit crazy.
and the great thing too is like there was an element of screwball kind of slapstick kind of thing to the ending.
Yeah.
Whereas with Hateful Eight, last 45 minutes drags.
Yeah.
Django has that heroic
just
send
shooting
off.
Everybody. Yeah.
Inglourious Bastards is more like
Yeah, if we're going for like like the most subtle of his last 3 films, like that was the most subtle, and that wasn't a subtle movie at all.
well, that's what I actually liked about the ending of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was fucking like when Rick Dalton brings up the flamethrower.
Yeah,
to
exactly.
Charlie Chick in the pool.
Oh my god!
And he's freaking out because he's shooting the gun off and.
Love that.
Brad
Like, man,
Pitt's
that guy's gonna
fucking
blow
going
himself
to
up. He totally just like.
And you know what fucking did it? You know what fucking did it was the goddamn dog, and that's Brad Pitt's dog.
Oh, that was his real.
That's his real dog.
Interesting.
That was the best fucking bit actor in that goddamn movie. Was his fucking dog.
He loved that dog, and he
makes
should
a lot
love
of
that
sense
dog
now.
because this is
It's his dog.
And I actually, like when I saw Brad Pitt's character get shot, fucking Cliff. When I saw him get shot, I'm like, no, don't kill Cliff. I was more worried about the dog. Then I saw the dog fucking running into Rick Dalton's wife's room, and I was like, dog's gonna be cool.
Dog's gonna be okay.
After he fucking chewed the dude's nuts off and fucking grabbed the chick by her face, and mauled her face. I was worried. I'm like, don't let the dog. All right, dog's cool.
There is that website, and I don't know that it's particularly like maintained or frequently updated or stuff, but it's like you can just search a movie by like Reddit probably meets all those qualifications I just listed. But you could just search a movie based on you could just be like, does the dog die? Because
does the dog die? Pedia.
No, because the dog gets in the ambulance with Cliff when he's taking off.
Yeah.
I was so happy about that.
That's fine. That's what you want.
I mean, hey, after a Marley movie, you can never be too sure.
Fuck after John Wick. Cliff
Marley
came
Me
back.
was before John Wick.
John Wick just gets it out of the way. Though.
Yeah,
it's just like
no, that I mean, yeah, they're sweet to the point, but they get the whole revenge stick, like deeply ingrained, nice and quick.
There's a lot of people that just like you have people trying to like justify it. It's like, so you're telling me he just like goes on this revenge streak because like somebody killed his dog and stuff, and you're like, well, no, it's because he lost his wife, and it was a symbol of hope and everything and stuff, and he's just like. He was out, and now he's forced back in, and he's frustrated and stuff. But then you have a bunch of people just like, yeah, you fucking killed the dog. You kill everybody who killed the dog.
I've had a lot of people ask me if I'm back.
I've
been thinking about
it. From Game of
Yeah.
Thrones, so
Yeah,
it's like, yeah.
I think I'm back.
Makes it easy.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I definitely enjoyed it. I think a lot more, a lot of fun and stuff. But I guess like nothing. Well, I don't even want to say this too because like
Go for it. Say it.
I was gonna say nothing necessarily like new or unexpected from Tarantino.
Really?
Really? That's why I'm not 100%.
I wouldn't disagree with that.
I'm not 100% committed to that statement, but like. I went in expecting something, and
So like, I feel like a lot of the ideas are like lighthearted versions of stuff he's already done.
I feel like I wasn't
really.
I didn't have anything
just a little bit
upturned or anything.
Well,
like, catch me off guard necessarily or anything like.
My thing was that he went full on. He revealed everything about everything that you ever seen in any of his movies.
Oh no, he still put his heart into it 100%.
Well,
I'm not going to disagree with that.
It wasn't just verbal references or character references. It was like the comic books on Cliff's
the
table.
The detail, yeah.
It was the dog. It was the editing, which broke the 180 several times.
Mm-hmm.
It honestly, it seemed like it had more fun.
Yeah.
Than any of his films, to be
so.
quite honest.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Like, it was the most
definitely.
fun.
I'll agree. I'll agree with that and everything. But but in the same way, and you and I talked about this. I remember when it came out was like Shutter Island was pretty much just like a victory lap for Scorsese and everything, kind of.
See, I have to admit that I haven't seen it since I saw it in the theater.
Okay.
That. When I saw it in the theater, it was the only time I've seen it. And I have not thought really on that film, and I'm not trying to fucking dive out on the point.
What we're
point counterpoint. Yeah. That seemed like to me when I saw it, I knew what the punchline was going to be because I read up too much.
Okay.
And that's honest to God fucking fanboy fucking. I read up too much what the fucking twist was going to be. While watching it, I didn't think it was standard by his measure. I thought that it was him having fun with a different kind of. He tried to go Hitchcock again.
Okay.
Which he tends to do. He tried to do it with the remake of Cape Fear. Mm-hmm. Which I think was not the first time where he had to take the money for the money's sake.
Okay.
If you look at like After Hours, 1985, after King Comedy and Raging Bull had bombed, and then After Hours was his second, basically, independent film. Mm-hmm. You know, you've got the first two films, Who's That Knocking on My Door, which is his self-funded film, and then Boxcar Bertha, which was the film that he did for Roger Corman, which is a Bonnie and Clyde knockoff. Okay. Then he did Mean Streets. Then he did Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore. Okay. Then Taxi Driver. Then New York, New York was his first bomb in the studio system. Mm-hmm. Then into Raging Bull, then King Comedy, which is an unheralded masterpiece.
We should come back to that later. I have questions.
Okay.
Related questions. Put a pin in it.
Yeah, the thing with Shutter Island was that you could tell he was having fun with the form. Mm-hmm. He was playing around. He was messing around. Departed had made a good bit of money and won the awards, so he got the money to
just do
this kind of thing. Do this adaptation for fun. It's a decent film, and it's got a hell of a cast, which I think suffers from the Departed syndrome, where you can have too many hands in the pot, even as far as actors. Mm-hmm. That fucking film's got Ben Kingsley, Max von Sydow, Mark Ruffalo, DiCaprio,
the great Mark
fucking Jackie.
They do a bad job. I like all the parallels they did.
Elias Koteas,
other guys with Departed.
Michelle Williams.
No.
Oh man, what's her name? The one who plays the patient. We're gonna spend
not
forever.
not Laura Dern. Fucking
It's not Laura Dern. No, we're gonna. Which congrats to Laura Dern, by the way. Shout out Laura Dern. Thanks for watching.
Best supporting actress. and you know what?
Way to go.
Quick segue. Can we fucking? You know what? I'm actually happy Brad Pitt won the Oscar.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I'm happy for Brad Pitt.
Absolutely.
I'm never really happy for fucking celebrity. Fuck whatever. Brad Pitt, I'm happy for. I'm happy for Brad Pitt.
I think
he gives his best.
Well deserved.
Because you know what? He was fucking. He owned up to it. I love Cliff Booth.
Mm-hmm.
I just think about the Bruce Lee thing.
We
talked about it.
We talked about we saw the movie. Sure.
It wasn't exactly the most tasteful thing, but like I understand what
It doesn't fucking matter. It was a fantasy.
That's why I say
I love the fact that my hands are registered as lethal weapons. Only fucking Tarantino can write a line for Bruce Lee like that. That's awesome.
I was more okay. And I shouldn't say I try not to be somebody who is dissuaded or negative about something before it comes out and you get the full context and stuff like that. It was just like it seemed like when we talked about that one time, it seemed like it was going to be that trope and everything, that well-established trope of where just like they're just throwing in the Asian person for like the joke there for the punchline.
But it's Bruce Lee.
But it's Bruce Lee, which was like more like
and
infuriating for me because
and you know that Tarantino's going to pay that respect.
Yeah. Well, that's why I was. It was more apprehensive, when we were talking. And then when it played out and everything, I was like, oh, okay.
And to the arguers out there, they never finished their set of 3.
It's true.
They broke even.
It's true. So, so the final score is Bruce Lee right
1-0
and Brad Pitt right here. So that's the world we live in now. No, I think.
Yep.
And I agree with it too because when people talk about those kind of like sympathy, or I shouldn't say sympathy, but just like legacy Oscars, it's like, well, we're giving you the award for this, but it's really because of like your body of work and everything like that. Like, no, I think he did great in that role. Like, he was so sympathetic, so just kind of genuine in that role. Like, it was very easy, like
simple.
Yeah,
not easy, but simple.
Yeah,
and simple's the hardest fucking thing to do. And I think the way he
doing it without
Cliff
being pretentious.
Yeah, he just made him a guy, and that whole dichotomy between Rick Dalton's lead actor and the stuntman, that was common. Mm-hmm. Like, the research that went into it was very common back in the day. I fucking read, it's called The Wild Bunch, and it's about the making of the film, and does a very good historical digging of Mexican Revolution and the integers that played into that story, and then played into the making of the film, etc., etc. And there was a bit about all the stuntmen that worked on that film and how they, like in the mid to late 60s, took odd jobs and had to make a living for themselves outside of being Hollywood stuntmen, but they weren't even, they had to work picture by picture. Mm-hmm. But some of those were able to attach themselves to main actors and buddy up with them for
tag along and everything.
10, 20 years.
Yeah.
Like Steve McQueen had his own stuntman. Fucking, I think Charles Bronson had his own stuntman. He actually did some of his own stunts. I think, obviously, John Wayne had his own stuntman. Fucking, like, old actors from back in the day, like, literally had a dude working next to him that would just sit around set all day. Mm-hmm. And when time came, they would throw themselves off a horse or fall out of a crashing car.
Yep.
That's the life.
So like that little bit of what Brad Pitt brought to that role, I think he did very well.
Absolutely.
Like the whole thing of like the fantasy scene at the beginning where he's in like the golf cart and he's got his leg propped up and Kurt Russell comes around the corner, because we all love Kurt Russell around here.
Yeah, anytime you can get Snake in a movie, again.
Don't get me going down that rabbit hole. I'll Kurt Russell the fuck up right now.
There'll be some big trouble in little Nate's house.
Uh-oh. I think it's starting.
It's on the reflexes. It's a dark and stormy night. That big sucker grabs you by your collar. Like, if you paid your dues, you know what Jack Burton says in a time like this. If you paid your dues, yes, sir, the check is in the mail. Greatest line reading of all time. Greatest line reading. When fucking him and his dude, or his Asian dude, are in the fucking, in the bottom of the,
like the crypt and everything?
No, the bottom of the parking garage.
Oh.
And they got Mao Yang in the back seat, and they almost run him over. And Kurt Russell gets up. He's like, "Son of a bitch must pay." It's the greatest line rating in the history of movies.
No, that one part in RoboCop where the guy's like, "Bitches leave."
Bitches leave. You're gonna be a bad motherfucker. All right, we got sidetracked.
Are you sure it's not that one in Troll 2 is like, oh no, they ate it.
They're gonna eat me.
Now they're gonna eat me.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry. I know that's the low-hanging fruit there, but
No, that's good.
it's pretty.
It's
pretty
tomato on the
compelling.
sandwich.
It's pretty compelling. You got.
I think about that thing at least once a week.
That's the T underneath the BNL.
But yeah, no, I agree with you on that. Like, yeah, well deserved, and
Yeah, Kurt Russell's shit.
And Kurt Russell, fucking amazing. Strong name. Gotta love Kurt's. And then...
That's the thing. It's like, yeah. How many... We all know a Kyle. How many Kurt's do you know?
Not a whole lot.
I know a Kirk. No, a Kurt.
You know an actual Kirk?
Yes.
Oh. Cool.
You spell with an I or U?
IRK.
Damn.
Does he irk you? I had to.
No, not really. I haven't talked to him in a while.
He's kind of a mellow guy.
Yeah, like he never really bothered me, so no, it doesn't really.
That's good.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's tough.
Kirk does not irk.
Sometimes it's tough when you have to deal. You have a Kirk and you have to deal with growing pains. Am I right? Yeah. But that's neither here nor there.
Well, then you come to Jesus.
Praise the Lord.
I got left behind on that.
Yeah. Nicolas Cage did. He was in the fucking adaptation.
Really? Oh,
the
yeah.
Left
No,
Behind
he was.
adaptation.
But the movie, not the
Yes.
the series. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. The actual movie.
He was, yes.
Nicolas Cage got left behind by Christ. You know what that means? That fucking there's no blow in heaven. Jesus is not carrying an 8-ball around his ankle.
Clouds, they may be white, but they don't have,
He was not
the light he
crucified for
wants.
your drugs. But goddamn it, that is some China white.
Speaking of which, where was Nick Cage this year? Come on.
I haven't seen him do anything since Mandy.
Dog Eat Dog. Dog Eat Dog. It's a good piece of shit movie. Paul Schrader made it with some college crew that he actually went out and drafted from their local film schools.
Oh, okay.
He's got Willem Dafoe, which...
Oh, yeah.
Willem Dafoe, Nicolas Cage, and a couple other guys. And it's about a fucking kidnapping gone wrong.
Okay.
Which, quick segue, I'll fucking go on and say, I don't know how I feel about The Lighthouse, but Willem Dafoe, Robert Pattinson,
And Nick Cage.
Yeah.
and Nick Cage in spirit.
There's a lot of channeling of Nick Cage in that movie, yeah.
More so from Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, absolutely.
Willem Dafoe got fucking robbed. Again.
Yeah.
Again. That motherfucker, I can watch take a shit and read the phone
absolutely.
book. Like, literally, something about him.
He's been killing it, too, just the last, 3-4 years even?
Last 30 years?
Well,
40?
forever. But specifically...
Have you not seen Live and Die in L.A.?
But, specifically, I'm trying to...
Shadow of a Vampire.
than that. But I'm thinking more recently like that. Did you see that Florida Project
I have not.
movie?
I did see Tangerine, but not Florida Project.
Oh, okay. Florida Project, he made that movie for me anyway and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then I didn't see that Van Gogh movie he was in. But I mean,
At the Edge of Eternity.
Yeah.
Or Edge of Eternity.
or Gate of Eternity or something. Something with Eternity. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but looked really good.
I was gonna say I've seen Edge of Tomorrow. I've never seen Edge of Eternity.
No, that
Edge of Tomorrow.
Seriously?
I thought it was okay. I mean,
I thought that was great. That was a great movie.
as far as things Tom Cruise has done, and I don't feel bad about, like, I feel the least bad about that movie.
$30.
Thank you, Tom.
And it's based off of anime, and I like anime, so.
I
Well, manga, technically.
technically, yes,
Yeah.
yes. That's a great movie. I don't even need to take your $20 back. I think that's just
Under.
It was fun. It was
that's,
a lot
Okay.
of fun.
great, that's a great movie.
All right, we've gone from the Oscars. We've done dork talk. Doesn't matter what decade or if it's now or back then or whatever. Film that you believe needs to be seen, that you don't think a lot of people have seen,
Well, I don't think a lot of people have seen
or a film that people need to see.
that people should see.
Doesn't matter if it's an Oscar winner or a fucking classic or just
Personal, heartfelt opinion.
Yeah. Interesting. Man. This oh man. This is cuz I don't know. This is just what's coming to the top of my head right here.
that's the point of the question.
Memento.
Ooh. I would, yeah,
See?
no.
I knew that's what the response is going to be, but
But I honestly agree with that. Because that was one of the things that got me into watching more movies.
Bro, we watched Rambo. We watched Rambo together.
we did watch Rambo together.
We cleaned out the Malaysian fucking army. It was Schindler's List, directed by Sam Peckinpah. You're gonna come out with Memento.
That's what came to my head right there. But I don't.
Everyone see Memento.
No, I don't think so.
Nowadays, like a lot of kids don't realize what Memento is. I'll talk about it, and like people are like, what the fuck's that movie? Because it came out in '99.
It got brought up in one of my.
It got brought up in
one of my classes the other day and stuff because we were talking about like story structure and somebody brought it up and it was just me, the professor, and the guy who brought it up that were like aware of it.
All right.
The moment we said like, oh, it's by the guy who directed like Dark Knight and everything, they were like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
A lot of people don't recognize Chris Nolan before Batman.
Yeah.
okay. Okay.
So this is
That's okay. Well, the quiet low shall wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
So this is a good segue then, kind of back to the Oscars here real quick. Although I want to come back and get your guys' opinion on the same question here.
Hey, floor is yours.
Parasite, loved it, absolutely, and totally deserved the win and stuff.
Winning stuff.
And all that stuff. Well, because it got the win, it got screenplay,
it got a nice Christmas stocking.
It got director in it. Yeah, absolutely, all that stuff. So the winning stuff, yeah.
It's better than pooping my pants in school.
But absolutely deserved. And I'm happy nobody pooped their pants at this Oscars. You hate it when that happens, but
Indeed.
But I'm curious. See, I was hoping you had seen it and stuff.
Haven, baby.
Well, because I know our clash on Snowpiercer, which is by the same director.
Yes.
That's why I'm
Which was why you didn't.
Which is why I'm
say that.
apprehensive about Parasite
And I'm
because I
curious-
fucking hated Snowpiercer.
And I'm curious too because like I can say for anybody else I think people should see it. It's definitely something very like unique and incredibly well done and stuff. But I think there's like just so much of like the things you hated about Snowpiercer still in there that I
God
don't
damn
think
it.
like
God fucking damn it.
Like, it's literally, I was thinking about it the other day, and I was like, I mean, it's
Like
almost,
what?
like
The bad editing?
So
the way that it's shot wrong?
Shit, if you're gonna hate Parasite then. So,
The way that it brings up the fucking pivotal character arc at the wrong moment?
so incredible editing, incredibly well shot, such brilliant like camera movement and camera work, and just like building like a theme there with like the movement and everything. And then I'd say like it's much more subtle with the character, obviously, because it's not a straight up like action movie or anything, so it's not hammering things into your head or anything like that, both literally and figuratively. No, actually, I take that back. Okay, but it's so like
You realize I'm gonna probably look back on this episode after I watch this movie and fucking
because if the theme for Snowpiercer, which I know one of the aspects of it you didn't like was just the
all of the film
back and forward, like the back of the train, front of the train,
it was
and
shot wrong,
going like that and everything. This one is literally it's an upstairs downstairs movie, so it's like
all right. That you know what? Okay. If it's a tier type thing, up and down.
We can always do a sequel to this. We can actually watch the movie and see how we feel about it.
Because Snowpiercer should have been shot as a diorama, and they should not have gone back and forth between the segments of the train.
So it should have been.
It should have been basically an adventure film,
just sticking to them
straight
the whole
ahead.
time.
And because that would have established those tiers a lot better instead of going back and forth. Or
how does it go back and forth? It sticks with Chris Evans' character the whole time. There are some parts where it goes back. He goes back to show you the guy.
He goes back and tries to rescue the plebeians, and the whole thing with John Hurt and Octavia Spencer's her child.
No, so
and the worst part about it was when him and fucking Asian dude are at the precipice of
the front door, and then he tells him the front car
how he was the baby who survived the cannibalism. That was an absolute wrong time to bring that up, because he just sat down like, hey, we're gonna die, here's my story, and then just completely ruined it with Ed Harris's character as the conductor. Like, oh, this was your moment. You have this choice now. And it never builds up to that choice. It just deflates within the last third.
No, he's been making that choice the entire movie.
The ending, it's paper thin. It's wet paper thin. And then the ending, the fucking horrible Children of Men ending with the polar bear and the chick and her little brother. Like,
it's not a little brother.
I'm gonna say it's wet paper thin is gonna be our new rapper name.
Do it, and they're gonna survive in this fucking new ice age.
Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. Who knows?
No, that polar bear is gonna eat their ass. I'd rather have seen that.
It's a possibility. Who knows?
So you're telling me there's a chance?
But
no, because it breaks with it, because
the important thing is that there's life outside of the train.
And it does it in the fucking most pandering way, because the whole time you're going to give me this no hope, we're just going to die, blah, blah, blah. And then at the end, there's
a key part right in the middle of the movie where they pass through and he says, like, oh, look, the snow has gone down. It's gotten warmer. He like puts that hope inside of there. He says, "Look, things are getting." Yeah,
they say in passing.
No, it's literally slow the movie down. Okay, we're gonna stop right there because otherwise this is gonna be the rest of the show right here. But no, I know you and I are never going to agree on this movie and stuff. But I think Parasite it deals with obviously it's not the dystopian society or anything like that.
Good.
But it still deals with those same exact. It's still about class. It's still about levels. It's still about moving up, trying to, or
the measures that I feel the film is going to take. I'm excited to see.
Mm-hmm.
I am curious to see how he deals with that class measure, how he deals with what we would consider like that bootstrap puritanical ideology, but then using it as a scam,
mm-hmm.
which from the plot that I've seen,
or
excuse me, that I've read, is part of the film.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm most curious about is how the family being inflicted this upon react.
Okay.
Now, as you said, if he does it in that tier measure,
mm-hmm.
like bottom to top, then I'm curious about it now, and I'm definitely curious how he maneuvers those pieces.
I'm pretty sure too. I don't know what you're gonna think, because I'm pretty sure it's the same editor too. But I think it's like brilliantly like put together and stuff. And there's like little like details too, where like the way they like they like stitch together takes to like get the right pacing, get the right performance, and everything like that.
Wait a minute, stitch together takes.
So
get the right pacing.
So there's and I only know this because this is like I dove in deep afterwards and stuff. But there would be certain scenes where if you slow it down enough, you can see that there's a little cut and where it's like been stitched together and everything from one take to a different take and everything like that. But it's not noticeable at all. The only reason
are these done in long takes with like the camera in tracking, or
no. So the most of them, as far as I know and everything, it's during camera movements and stuff. So there's like a part where like the dad is like the father character is like talking, saying something, and then his son like cuts him off and everything. So they have the one take of the dad talking, and then as the camera's moving, completely imperceptible. I only know it because
like a side swipe.
Yeah, and I only know it because like I read about it and somebody like pointed it out and everything, and then like you notice that like when they filmed it, it was obviously all just like one take and everything, but then like when they edited it, he wanted the specific performance from like the son that he did on like the third or fourth take or whatever and stuff, and so like he cut that in. But you don't. Again, it's not noticeable whatsoever.
Okay.
Wouldn't be able to tell. I don't think so. I don't know, but I had no idea until I.
If you have a fucking voicemail at 4:30 a.m. Monday morning, and it's just me doing fucking pig growls
for 30 minutes.
All right.
I'm curious. I don't know.
All right. No, I am curious.
I really don't know because I think it's really, it's very much got the same sense of style and pacing and stuff, and even just like themes of Snowpiercer, but obviously presented in a very different way, very different context and stuff. But like, if you don't like the way he directed that, I don't know if you'll enjoy this and everything.
How much do you enjoy flaming dog poop?
On occasion, no.
All right, that's a 1.5%. Alrighty, folks. We're gonna get out of here before the melee starts.
Oh, it's.
I don't have a GameCube, so yeah, you guys are on your own.
Shit, we gotta fight for real? We're lucky we didn't talk about. Well, I don't know. We're lucky we didn't talk about Joker. But I think actually,
let's do it.
I think you and I feel the same way about that.
Let's do it.
Actually.
All right, all right. Joker, me. Saw in theaters, liked it a lot more than I anticipated.
Okay.
Does Joaquin deserve the Oscar? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Did I anticipate him winning the Oscar? Obviously.
Yeah.
Does the film act as or play out as a two-parter? A nice two-part set piece?
Mm-hmm.
I think so. Because after he's denied his medication, it's all game.
Mm-hmm.
I think that did that part well. I don't know if I like the movie. Like, enjoy the movie, like the movie. I'll give it a thumbs up. But that's mainly because I liked it more than I anticipated.
Okay.
Because I anticipated going into it, Joaquin's going to do a great job, but I'm not. The movie's going to be.
Not gonna like anything else about it.
Movie was. It's good. It's good. It's a good film.
Mm-hmm.
It's a worthwhile film. It does the world building pretty well. Now, granted, I've said this a million times, I don't know the fucking source material.
Mm-hmm.
So there's all of that missing. I'm only approaching it as there's the film, there's my eyes, this is my take.
Yeah. And I think if you approach it that way, it's a much better film. Because...
comic book fans are a son of a bitch.
Well, you know, I don't know. Yeah, if there's just too many... coming at it as a comic book fan, way too many just kind of like... it's too... I don't know. Because, you know, you can be so... comic book characters are so adaptable to begin with. But I'll say I think it coming at it as a comic book fan, it misses the point. And then also...
Even with the side stories that it supposedly includes?
Yeah, that fucking wasted time and everything. Because as a comic book fan, I really don't like it. Just as a movie fan, like watching it, which I think is the better way to watch it and everything, literally just eyes to the screen and everything like that.
Well, why? Because
you don't need any. You shouldn't, because having the context of the characters of the comic book universe, I think, lessens the movie.
Because I've heard some of the side stories that it has, like The Man Who Laughed, for instance, that it picks up and adapts that quite well.
Like the movie?
The movie adapts those side stories pretty well. Like, for instance, a side comic of The Man Who Laughs.
Oh, you're talking about The Killing Joke, probably.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The Batman Who Laughs is a different one.
Yeah.
Way different.
Well, I've heard, like, as far as, like, the comedic part, that works well.
Not even really, though, in all honesty. It's very much its own thing and stuff, and which is fine and stuff. If it was, I would have liked the film more if it was the same exact thing minus all the Joker and Batman elements. As it felt like to me, the only reason it was a Joker movie was because it then got in front of more eyes and it became more viable for them to go to the studio and be like, hey, we want to make this movie and it's a Joker origin story and stuff. If it had, I think it would have been, it works so much better without that stuff, because then it just like, it's you can say sure it's an interesting take, you can say sure it's like an Elseworlds thing or something like that, but it tries to rely on that context and on that history without actually embracing it, and it just falls flat.
I think the whole problem with that is like explaining like that whole universe within like the time allotted, without like trying to like be its own like big narrative.
Yeah.
So like I feel like they just kind of like dived head first, and it was like, okay, let's just fucking do it. And then like people should assume like what kind of character Joker should be, and then they just kind of like make up a lot of it in the back of their head.
Yeah.
Which is, it's not a bad way of doing things,
Well,
honestly.
and that's why, and it's fine if there's any character you can come in and kind of play around with, he's definitely the one. It was really more like, I guess, even like the Bruce Wayne and the Gotham parts that like should just cut those out entirely or something like that.
At first, I thought that you don't need another Bruce Wayne origin or Batman origin. Excuse me,
because Gotham wasn't that good, to be honest.
Because he doesn't even get a Batman origin.
When they did that, I liked it because it drew that connection to his arch enemy in a much better way than the original Batman. Excuse me, the second Batman with Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson, where they have
the first one.
No, the second one.
The second Batman Returns?
No, the second Batman. The first Batman movie has Adam West.
Oh, with Adam West. Sure. My mistake.
Yeah.
Where they have like the whole Jack Napier thing. It drifts on that, but the reason I didn't initially. Well, actually, I kind of liked the Bruce Wayne bit of Joker because it was kind of like a middle finger to me.
Mm-hmm.
Where, okay, you're not only you're going to make them related because of what they're doing within Gotham, you're making them related potentially by blood.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was a nice thing to it.
But they don't. So that's the other thing too, because they try and this is even just from a movie like viewing point. Like forget all the comic book stuff and everything, but like they try and act like the movie's like ambiguous and open ended and shit like that. They commit to like everything. They make clear. Like I hate when people talk about it, it's like, and you don't know how it ended. Was it real? Was it a dream or anything? It's like, no, they've made it pretty clear that like, what was real and what wasn't real and stuff. Like there's that halfway point where he goes to Zazie Beetz' house, her apartment and everything, and they specifically show you. They blatantly show. I fucking hate
that part. I hate.
They did that and everything.
Part. I will agree with you.
And so, and then there's
it was unnecessary,
completely unnecessary.
To me, like if you're gonna show this man's mental breakdown, there's no necessity for that part because that solidifies to the audience what they thought they saw, where it should be shrouded in mystery.
And every scene where he's having a delusion, like they either reveal later or they make it very clear, like what is that he's going into and everything. It's not like because then like
that whole part with in the apartment with the lady.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like that most because it took away from the moments of delusion that he had before and after.
Yeah.
Because if they would have kept that stringing along, they could have, I thought, made it seem more dreamlike. Like the stuff absolutely. With him on Murray, like
then you
embracing him as his dad, stuff like that. And then afterwards, where does he kill his mom? Like it would have, I think, it would have added a little more.
Absolutely.
Okay, like what the fuck's going on?
Movie would have been like I think heavily improved by literally just cut out that scene where they show you all the moments he was imagining her.
No.
Yeah. But I think that then like issue extends to like the rest of the movie and stuff because people are trying to pass it off as like, oh, who knows and stuff. It's like no, they make it very clear.
Do you think that Joaquin deserved the Oscar?
Yeah.
Now,
I loved. I think him because he's definitely doing something unique, something different there. I love the music. I know the woman who composed like the score and everything absolutely deserve. And then even just the music cues in the movie, like great soundtrack, really thoughtful and everything.
See, I wasn't a fan of the score.
Oh, you didn't like the score?
It didn't. It just seemed too downhearted. It seemed too, okay, there's this fucking dystopian, downtrodden vibe that we have. Let's add more music to it to accentuate the moment where I didn't think it needed it. Mm-hmm. Now, if they had used more like symphonic music, like strings, or brass, or like actual instruments instead of like synthesizer type music, or that's what it sounded to my ears.
Okay.
Not synthesizer, but
that more kind of like electronic feel or something, though.
Yeah.
I don't know. It worked for me and stuff because I thought it matched because the other thing I liked was the like set design. I thought they did a good job building Gotham, like building the just the look.
That part was most consistent to me.
Yeah, and I thought that fit well and everything. But like, it just felt like, and again without the comic book stuff and everything, taking that into account, but like everybody else was just kind of wasted. And I suppose that's like, that was gonna happen. It is Joker, like he is the star of the movie and everything like that, but like it just felt like a lot of other stuff wasn't as well, not as much thought, not as much effort, not as much kind of like detail was put into as his character and everything. So
okay, got it.
Yeah, I had a my friend Danielle and I had like a 3-hour conversation about it, like after it came out and everything. But like, I liked it. I gave it like a solid like B when I first saw it. And then like now I'm more at like overall I'm more at like a C plus kind of thing, and then like as a comic book fan, it's like a D kind of thing. Like he's really good, and he does a lot of interesting stuff and everything. But I think like
it's definitely a reimagining more than anything.
It's one where it tries to like it tries to use that mythology and that history and stuff, but then it doesn't even feel, because like if it was a middle finger that'd be one thing and stuff. It just feels like it's like, oh, we're gonna just kind of like pepper this in, but we're not really gonna like commit to it.
You can work a lot on assumptions.
Yeah.
And you really shouldn't rely on that. I mean, they can in this case, but like you really shouldn't have to.
And it's like either commit to it and make it like a clear connection, kind of like you're talking about, and like make it clear, like, yeah, no, this is really like. By the way, where's Gene Hackman nowadays? But
he's just turned 90. Which, by the way,
my.
Rest in peace, Kirk Douglas.
Oh yeah, absolutely, Kirk.
Colonel Drax.
Spartacus, man. But yeah, I wasn't crazy about it. I think and I think like there's I saw there's one guy on YouTube. I never seen him before or anything, but he went off after the Oscars because he was just like, how the fuck did Joker like not win? Like absolutely relevant movie, and like talks about shit that like is relevant today, like mental health and class distinction and stuff, and like, who the fuck here has like seen Parasite? And like, I don't even know what that movie's fucking about or anything. And then like it's like, well, actually it's a lot about like mental health.
And there's plenty of movies that do. It's just you don't want to pay attention to them.
And it's very timely and relevant to today. But yeah, go ahead, continue, asshole. Like,
you ever watch One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest? Oh. Like, come on.
Want to watch the game, Chief?
But yeah,
all right.
I don't know. I had to get that off, I guess. I don't know. I'm sorry.
I feel it.
I see this theme.
I had to let the people know.
That's what we're here for.
Well, and then I was curious too, because like I know, I think part of my initial like reaction to it was like, the more I think about it, the more like King of Comedy derivative it really
it was. Even Todd Phillips admitted that King Comedy and Taxi Driver were the main influences.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that's why obviously De Niro was casted, and that play on at least in the first half, that guy's seeking some sort of fame. Not fame as far as celebrity, but fame for, which I kind of like the way they turned it, like fame for his own self.
Yeah.
But I think King Comedy did a lot better.
Yeah. That's why the King of Comedy, you're not like, you know, you can make the argument like for either one, like, oh wait, like did that happen or did that not happen?
Oh, it
like,
did.
It
It did. Yeah. Like, I think the distinction you have to make is Jerry in the right for protecting himself, or is Rupert in the? Because no one's actually. I take that all back. No one is in the right in that film.
Yeah.
Everyone's discussing what
everybody's
the
pretty scumbaggy, yeah.
And to show that the thing with Rupert Pupkin in King Comedy is that he never has a human side.
Yeah.
Whereas on the flip side with
Joker,
it's not that they tried to show a human side, they tried to show like the marrow of the character, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
They tried to flip it.
It's just, yeah. It's a character too who just like, I don't think
needs a backstory.
I don't think it serves anything to like give him a backstory, exactly, like any sort of origin and stuff. Like,
you know me, I'm split 50-50. So
again, that's more a comic book kind of, or the comic book fan of me coming out and with that specific criticism, but like, yeah, I know what you mean though.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
They try to go to the flip side, and it as a movie, I do think it works altogether. But wait till next week. I don't fucking know.
I don't know, man. I don't know, man.
So, a good man.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for coming on, man.
Yeah, anytime.
FlashDesigns.com. Get your merchandise. Moon Tower Podcast on Facebook, Stitcher, Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, Twitter, I think.
Google Play?
Google Plus? I don't think anyone has a Google Plus anymore.
I don't think so either.
If you look up the store, that's where we're at.
You heard it here first.
Check
folks.
us out, folks.
Yeah.
Thank you, Russ Axon.
Hey, thanks again, bud. Anytime.
Play the outgoing music. Right.
Love you. Bye. Have a good one. Bye. Hope you find your dad. Bye.
Marriage Story.
See ya, folks.